today. So welcome to the Route 8 Design Build Public Information Meeting. And this is the Resurfacing, Bridge Rehabilitation, and Safety Improvements Project on Route 8 in the towns of Shelton, Derby, Ansonia, and Seymour. So today's public information meeting is an opportunity for the design team to share information about the project and for the public and participants to ask questions of the team. So we will get started. You could do next slide, Mike. Okay, so because we are conducting this as a virtual meeting, we just want to be sure that everyone's safe. So if anyone's driving while doing the meeting, please pull over if you'd like to communicate with the team via the Q&A box or the chat. And please always be aware of your surroundings. You know, if you need to unmute your device to speak, please just pull over. Your safety comes first. Title VI, these are your civil rights. These are the regulations that state no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. You will see a voluntary post-meeting survey, which can be accessed by the QR code in this presentation or by this website, portal.ctportal.ctdot.gov/CT-DOT-SURVEY. And then you will also see this in the chat box if you'd like to access this link during the presentation. For civil rights information, you will find that information at this web link, BUSINTITLE/VI-PAGE. And so you know, a recording of the presentation will be posted to YouTube after this event as well. And closed captioning is available, including non-English translation options on both Zoom and YouTube. So this is the Title VI notice to the public, and this is available at the link that you'll also see in the chat box. The Connecticut Department of Transportation, CTDOT, operates its programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with Title V of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes she or he has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under Title VI may file a complaint with the Connecticut DOT. So how we would like to interact with you and to receive your questions and be able to answer them is using the Zoom Q&A feature. And these are the steps to do that. So step 1, you will select the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom webinar window, as you can see to the right here in the slide. The second step, you'll see the Q&A window will open, as you can also see. And then you'll just type your question in the text box and click enter. If you are one of the participants who is an audio only, that's on the phone, you may dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. So for our question and answer session, the main method of interacting with the team is by chat with the Zoom Q&A. We will be taking questions in the Zoom Q&A box, and we will all be answering them as shown on the right here. Other ways that you may communicate with the team includes by email, which is info@route8designbuild.com. And the 8 is the number 8. So you may also give a call and leave a voicemail at 860-594-2020. You may also visit the project webpage, which is www.route8designbuild.com. And again, that is the number 8. And please note, we will have a comment period that will be open through January 27th, 2023. However, Zoom Q&A is only available during this public meeting. And on to you, Josh.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending the presentation for the Connecticut Department of Transportation Project 36203. This is a resurfacing, bridge rehabilitation, and safety improvements, as mentioned before, and then the rest of the presentation will get into detail of what those items will be. The project does roughly extend from exit 22 in Seymour, and that goes south to exit 13 in Shelton. The department has awarded this project to Empire Paving, and Empire has partnered with STV and FHI, who are the design partners on this project. The department has also partnered with HW Lochner as our inspection staff, or field inspection staff, that will be performing the day-to-day activities in the field. And at this time, I'll hand off the presentation to Mike of STV and Sean of FHI, who's been speaking previously, and they will conduct the rest of the presentation. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, I would just like to dig in a little bit more, but before I do, I'll just introduce myself. Michael Oliver. I am the design manager from STV, and I'm going to be presenting to you folks this project this evening. Some of the key players on our team from Empire Paving are Chris Goddard, project manager, Steve Francois, project executive. From the STV team, and here on the line tonight, helping to answer questions is Joseph Madrid, our lead highway designer. And joining him is Miss Kelly Bird, our lead traffic designer. And you folks have certainly already heard from Sean Callahan. On the ConnDOT side, the Connecticut DOT side, District 4 is overseeing this project. John Lee is the Connecticut DOT District 4 district engineer. Judy Nemesek is the assistant district engineer. Henry Fredericks, the supervising engineer, and Josh Barkus, who you just heard from, is the project engineer. From the Lochner side, Chris Hylas is the resident engineer. With that said, I'd like to get into the project overview. So as Josh started to allude to, the project corridor shown here begins from the south in Shelton up through Derby, Ansonia, and terminating in Seymour. The project is a total length of 8.8 miles, and it begins right at Platte Road, in the exit 13 region. And it terminates on the north, or right underneath the North Main Street overpass in Seymour. So just to kind of run down the list of activities here, for the whole corridor, we're installing new incident management system conduit, So it's the backbone of a future incident management system. So the IMS system, the incident management system, are those illuminated message boards that provide highway information. So while those message boards are not being included in this project, we're setting the backbone for that new system. In the southerly limits of the project, from exit 13 to exit 17, we're going to be replacing and upgrading the existing illumination system. And rolling down, starting at the Route 34 on-ramp, just past the Route 34, the bridge that goes over Route 34, and heading north up to North Main Street, are some of the more major construction items, such as the pavement rehabilitation, the bridge rehabilitation, a lot of drainage upgrades, and roadside safety improvements. So what I'm going to do is expand upon each one of these items as I progress through the presentation. So talking a little bit more about illumination and IMS. Again, the illumination or the IMS is through the full corridor. I think I've already explained that. The illumination is predominantly in the Shelton and Derby. We're going to be upgrading to all LED light fixtures and new light standards and foundations. And the light standard is the pole itself in the arm, cross arm. And the foundation is a new concrete foundation. So it's going to include all new underground conduit and conductor, the wires. Included in the illumination scope is also some new underbridge illumination and illumination on some existing bridge structures, such as the Commodore Hull Bridge. So digging into the pavement rehabilitation, this is one of the largest scope items on this project. The pavement rehabilitation extends approximately 6.5 miles on Route 8 northbound and southbound from exit 15 up through exit 22 North Main Street. It's going to cover the towns of Derby, Ansonia, and Seymour. And the crux of the pavement rehabilitation is going to begin with concrete base pavement repairs. So what we're first going to do is mill down the existing bituminous surface to the existing concrete wearing surface. And in overnight lane closures, the concrete base is going to be surveyed and repaired. Following the concrete base repairs is going to be a brand new overlay, a brand new bituminous overlay, similar to what's out there today, with a very long service life. It's a 30-year service life. It's a unique piece of this project. It's providing a very long service life pavement for this project. So some of the early work items that our team has undertaken was a series of pavement cores, and you may have seen us out there earlier this year in the fall. So obtaining pavement cores helps us get a better understanding for the existing depths and thicknesses and location of the existing concrete base slab. I'd like to now move on to some of the roadside safety improvements. Now, the roadside safety improvements follow the same project limits as the paving limits, starting at exit 15, Route 34, heading north up to North Main Street. So the roadside safety improvements are predominantly guide rail upgrades, and we're bringing them up to the current federal standards, and that is MASH compliant standards. And MASH stands for Manual of Assessing Safety Hardware. It's a testing procedure implemented by Federal Highway. So we're going to be replacing a lot of the existing metal guide rail and 3 cable rail that's out there with this new guide rail system. Now, the guide rail is predominantly in the shoulders and in the median and some parts of the project. But predominantly, there is an existing concrete medium barrier curb. The existing medium barrier curb is a 32-inch high Jersey barrier shape type that was installed back in the 80s. cars and trucks nowadays are bigger and taller. So our new median barrier that's going to be installed is going to be a 42-inch height, and it's going to be a new single slope, brand new standards and details that were just released by Connecticut Department of Transportation. So this Route 8 corridor is going to look and feel like a brand new highway when we're done with it, and very excited about that. Talking a little bit more about some of the design elements of the project, the drainage upgrades. So the drainage upgrades also follow the pavement rehabilitation limits, exit 15 to exit 22 up to North Main Street. And the existing drainage system was installed back in the 50s, and it's certainly beyond its useful service life. A lot of the existing structures, pipes, are metal pipes that have been corroded. So to get our full understanding of the existing drainage system condition, our team is undertaking a very extensive drainage site investigation and cleaning operation that's actually beginning this coming Monday. So we're going to be working diligently to clean and collect data from our existing system so it can be used in the final design. Now, our proposed rehabilitation effort is going to be pipelining a lot of these existing pipes unless they're determined to not be lineable, and then we're going to consider full replacement. There's also a series of under drains, and under drains are smaller pipes that run parallel to the roadway. And these under drains were originally like 6-inch metal pipes, and we're going to be replacing them with brand new pipes. So there's going to be some, relatively significant trenching happening in the roadside to replace these drains. The project will also receive all new catch basin tops. So from the top side, everything's going to look brand new. That kind of wraps up the scope of the drainage improvements. Moving on down to the bridges. There's 11 bridges through the project limits, and similar to the pavement and drainage limits, the bridges are within the paving limits, starting at exit 15 and heading north to North Main Street. Again, there's 11 bridges, and the bridges do have varying scope of rehabilitation. There's 4 bridges. Some of the larger structures within the project limits are going to be receiving deck patching, new membrane waterproofing, and all of the bridges will receive a new overlay. Now, to coincide with some of the guide rail upgrades, there's going to be new end blocks. And an end block is this piece of concrete right here. So it's the transition between the metal guide rail and the bridge structure. So each bridge will receive a new upgraded end block. There is some minor bridge work happening on Bridge 588 that's going to happen on the underside of the structure, such as some hollow concrete removal. So some minor deteriorated concrete removal, predominantly in the region where there's roads underneath the bridge. So we're going to be doing some work there, but it's quite minor, and it's limited to Bridge 588, which is that long bridge in Seymour. That wraps up the major scope items for this project, and I'd like to now just introduce you to some of the project funding. So this project, actually quite a bit of the funding, 80% is covered by the feds, and 20% is state funded. The total project cost is $77.3 million. And again, the project was awarded to Empire Paving through the design build procurement method, and Empire and STV are teamed up on this assignment. And I'd just like to provide you folks with a little bit of insight into the design build procurement method. So design build is part of Federal Highway's Everyday Counts initiative. The benefit to the public is that it reduces the project time by condensing the project design and construction together. It's a partnered relationship with the contractor, Empire Paving, and STV, the designer. So really, currently, we're working collaboratively on the design side. to really squeeze that, typical, 3, 4, 5 year design time into really 1 year. So it's a very intense process that we're currently going through. And you guys can see that on the next slide. All right, let me move something around. The next slide, you can see this condensed project schedule. So Empire Paving received notice to proceed back in June, and we got STV got right to work with the design phase of the project. And from then till now, a lot of our design packages for the design elements that I previously covered are at their semifinal or final design stage. Now, we are on a track to finish final design of all of our design packages by March of 2023. And it's anticipated that we will receive release for construction. So this little window between final design and construction is going to be later in the spring. And Empire Paving is planning to mobilize and start heavy construction in the spring of 2023. And I just wanted to stop and reiterate that some of the work that's going to be happening this winter in the field is just going to be that significant undertaking with the drainage site investigations, which is going to be cleaning and camera inspection of the drainage system. And just to wrap things up, you can see the condensed schedule here. Design our project completion for the construction aspect of the project is going to be December of 2024. So we essentially have 2 full years of construction activities. And a little bit more about the current project status. I think I mentioned it briefly earlier, but the initial construction activities that we had, which are part of the to support the design, was the pavement coring. That was those field activities took place in the fall of 2022. And one thing I want to add is that in the same time period, we also did an extensive project survey using a state-of-the-art LiDAR scanning, which was really cool. So we were able to drive a LiDAR mounted vehicle through the corridor, and that helps us get a very great detailed survey of the existing roadway conditions to help base our design upon. I already mentioned the drainage site investigations and cleaning is starting in the winter of 23, starting next week. It's anticipated that work activity is going to run about 50 days, I recall, so about a month and a half. So I'll talk about construction staging in a little bit, but I have it noted here. So stage 1A is essentially a pre-stage for us. And to help facilitate traffic shifts in the future, we're going to be removing the rumble strip. So we're going to mill out and pave the rumble strip. And that work is going to start in the spring of 2023 once the asphalt plants reopen. And again, final design is very much underway. And one aspect of our project that's been left up to the design and construction team is the preparation of the stormwater permit. And part of the reason why that permit was pushed to this phase is because the area of ground disturbance isn't really known, because we're not sure about the complete scope of the drainage work. So we've done a bunch of work in the fall to prepare for this, and it's going to be completed once the site investigation work. So we're going to be submitting the permit later this spring in anticipation to align with the construction start. So a little bit about general construction activities. Initially, the work is going to be completed by taking lanes with off-peak hours. So you'll see some daytime and some nighttime work. We're certainly going to be, minding our limitations of operation. So we're not going to be impacting traffic or taking lanes during the morning rush hour or the evening commute. Predominantly, this work's going to happen at night with some daytime activities. Daytime activities are going to be work that's behind protection, like work that's going to happen behind concrete barrier curb, temporary barrier curb. We do have a few ramp closures planned in detours, but they're only short durations and they're only going to be at nighttime. And that's to facilitate some of the work that's going to happen to, our numerous ramps throughout the project. So such as paving and guide rail installations, it's the safest things for our crews. The team is developing these ramp detours, and they're going to be coordinated with each municipality with the detour agreement. And detours will be presented in the press release and posted on our project website 2 weeks in advance. So just to expand a bit on our construction staging and phasing, we took this nice drone image from a very similar project. This is Route 2 up in Hartford, and it really does demonstrate how traffic is going to be, really shifted around. So you can see actually in both situations here that the shoulders had been paved or rehabilitated and traffic had been shifted onto the shoulders. So this is some of the work that we're talking about doing by milling the rumble strip and pushing traffic over to facilitate the work zone for the median barrier reconstruction. So you're going to see traffic patterns just like this starting as early as the springtime. And actually the traffic heading like south here has been pushed over to facilitate that shoulder reconstruction. And predominantly the project is going to be undertaken in 3 major stages, and starting with the shoulder rehabilitation, then transmitting to the median barrier reconstruction, and finally, once the median barrier has been replaced, mainline pavement reconstruction. So traffic's going to be shifted, median barrier is going to be replaced. Once median barrier is good, the patterns will be opened back up, and we're going to mill and pave the roadway. So a little bit more about the construction staging and phasing. Since the project is so long, especially the paving limits being about 6.5 miles, the Empire is planning to progress the work from south to north. So the center median reconstruction is going to occur in 1 mile increments. So as 1 mile of median is reconstructed, we're going to move the traffic patterns up, and the concrete base repairs are going to certainly happen once the center median work has been progressed 3 miles ahead. So it's an incremental approach that contractor is proposing. So a little bit more about our typical ramp closures. So this is a quick little graphic here, but for all intents and purposes, ramp 19 is closed. So traffic is going to progress north on Route 8 and get off the next exit. It would swing around and hop on what would be the detour road, which we're hoping is a state road. If not, we will get a detour agreement with the municipalities. So again, most detours will be set up for state roads, and detours will be coordinated with local municipalities. And in general, traffic will be detoured to the next exit, and travelers will follow signage back to the closed exit. So again, looping around, hopping off, coming back. At this time, I'd like to hand it back to Sean to talk a little bit more about our public engagement process throughout the project.
Thanks, Mike. So public engagement outreach is crucial and integral to this project. And we started it right at the beginning of the project, and we'll continue through the life of it, reaching out to folks in a manner, many manners of reaching out. So what we've already developed is a public information and communications plan, which is really the roadmap for our outreach program. And that's a dynamic living document that we update as the project progresses. We've already begun some elected and local officials outreach. We've done some town hall meetings, and we'll continue to do that. We have some stakeholder notifications in our network that we've established for the project. We are and will continue to do civic and community meetings. This is one of the meetings that we have on the docket. And then for construction, we will be integrating timely construction notices to keep everyone abreast of when there will be any sort of traffic interruptions and where the work will be occurring. So next steps, you can always know what's going on and check in on the project on our website, route8designbuild.com. And this recording will be posted on the website, as we did mention. And then again, we will have that 2-week comment period. So if you don't feel like you want to share with the group today, or you have a thought after the meeting, please feel free, reach out and send us a comment. We'll have that open until January 27th. All right. And at this time, I see we've already got some questions in the Q&A. So thank you so much. And we will start to go through these Q&As. So our first question is just curious, will additional lighting be installed through exits 20 through 17 southbound?
Yeah, so currently that would be outside of our scope. I think when I covered it in the presentation, we're starting around exit 13 and replacing or upgrading the illumination up to exit 17. So currently that leg of the lighting is not planned under this assignment.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Our next question. There have been a lack of lighting throughout this area, and it's definitely a safety concern or issue, especially in the time where there is inclement weather conditions, heavy rain and fog, and it's dark throughout that area. So I think that's more of a comment, I think, that we will add to the record and make sure that everyone acknowledges that.
Yeah, I can add a little bit. I was going to say that for the areas where we are receiving illumination work, the illumination will be maintained at all times with a temporary system. So certainly, taking into consideration some of those concerns, at least in the area where there is illumination, we're going to be maintaining it.
Great. All right. Our next question is this a type 1 DOT project?
I'm unfamiliar with that statement. Josh, could you help me out?
I am actually unfamiliar myself. I'm not sure. Maybe possibly she could elaborate some more.
Okay, so we'll table that one, or provide a response at a later time.
All right. This question came in kind of earlier in the presentation. I think it was answered, but let's make sure that we get to her answer. What type of illumination are you installing? Maybe some more details on that might help, Mike.
Yeah, so currently the existing system is a high pressure sodium. It's like an older type of light fixture, and all of the light fixtures along the project are going to be upgraded to LED. So that's the type of light head that we're installing.
Great. So this is a similar question. Exits 17 to 20 covering the town of Ansonia. There's a lack of lighting in that area at night. Could that be added? Or if you could explain what is the conflicting issue with that?
So there's no issue. I would just say that, the Empire STV team is performing this work based upon the scope that was developed by the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and lighting in that region wasn't included in this project. That's the proposed work.
Okay. All right. We do have another question. What are the specifications of the LED?
So the specifications that we are following are all current Connecticut DOT standards. The specifications that were included with this project from the Connecticut Department of Transportation are being followed. So we are following all CONDOT illumination lighting specifications.
Great. All right. Our next question, what are the hours of work?
So I would say the hours of work could really be any time. The contractor does do day work and night work. We are bound by what's called the limitations of operations, which is when we can and cannot take lanes or shoulders. So we were going to be certainly abiding by that. And I believe, between the hours of like 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and I believe it's like 3 p.m. and like 8 p.m. That's usually when we cannot have any impacts to the travel lanes, and that's going to be followed in accordance with the limitations of operations.
Okay. The next question is, how long will the project take?
Yes, so the project is effectively like a 2.5-year project. It began in June of 22 and is going to complete construction in December of 2024. So 2 years of construction.
Great. Will any 5G towers be installed?
No.
Are you installing any water lines, potable water lines? And where will the storm sewer pipes discharge?
Sure. Currently, there is not any scoped water installations on our project. We are coordinating with the Regional Water Authority for a few potential utility conflicts with some of the drainage improvements. So we're just working with them with that respect. Now, with respect to the storm drainage pipes being discharged, we are maintaining all current discharge points. We are not adding any new discharge points.
Okay. Next question. How many IMSs are planned?
So the scope of our project is just to install the conduit for the IMS system. Currently, we are not aware of the physical locations of the future IMS. We're just installing the backbone for it.
Great. All right. Next question. Is there any lead paint or asbestos in the existing units? And if so, how will that be handled?
I guess I'm not sure exactly what the definition of a unit is. I don't know if that's the light fixtures that you might be talking about. But I would say that I guess I'm trying to remember, Josh, if we had line items to handle lead or asbestos, or maybe you can help me answer this one.
Yeah, I don't believe we have any lead or asbestos work that's been identified. But if we do come across any of it, obviously we have the means to handle it and dispose of it in a proper fashion that meets all of our local authorities and rules and regulations.
Great. All right, next question. Will there be any noise studies for the surrounding neighborhoods to determine if noise abatement is needed and noise barrier walls installed along Route 8 from Stratford exit 11 through Seymour?
So noise barriers are currently not part of the scope of the project. And just a heads up that noise barrier walls are usually installed when a road gets widened or a new ramp goes in, because there's a section of Route 8 where a new ramp was put in a couple of years ago, and you see sound wall on that wall. But again, usually that's a measure that comes out of the NEPA evaluation. And the nature of our job is really just more or less a mill and pave project, and we're not expanding any surface or roadway. So we're really just kind of maintaining the existing impact of the project. So it's not part of the scope.
Great. The next question, someone asks, will this new LED, this new LED will not be hazardous? They are not blue LED lights?
The LED lights will not be hazardous.
Next is entry to Route 8 northbound in that area is so dangerous. Will that on-ramp be modified or blocked in the near future?
We are not changing any access points to Route 8. All existing ramps are going to be maintained. There are going to be some improvements just by using new pavement markings, so it might be better delineated. The lane configurations are going to be maintaining the same. Acceleration, deceleration lanes aren't changing. Again, this is more of like a milling and paving project. So, no.
Okay. The next comment that came in, the corridor certainly needs the work. Can't wait for the work to be completed. Good luck.
Thank you. We're
Thank you
very
very much.
excited about this project. So thanks.
All right. Our next one was, it is so short and right at the bend between exit 17 and 18. So that may reference the ramp question. That was 2 questions ago, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we're not changing the configuration of any of the on-ramps in this project.
Okay. The next few seem to be a little, they're just portions of a sentence. So I'll read them out, but I'm not sure if we have a full question of these. The comment was any of the structures. And then the next one is i.e. concrete. And the next one is bridge parts.
Yeah, I'm guessing Sue's getting at maybe the potential of the lead and asbestos. The scope of our bridge work is so minor in general nature, where we're just doing some very minor concrete chipping and deck repairs, that typically those elements of the structure don't have any hazardous materials.
Yeah, I could kind of answer a little bit more on that too. I mean, during the construction project too, they will be, using their best practices to mitigate dust and debris and whatnot to contain it in the area that they're working to. So the contractor will do as much as possible to, keep the dust in any kind of hazard contained, basically.
Great. All right, the next one, do highway drainage infrastructure have oil and silt interceptors?
Tom, I would say that, the scope of our drainage work is really just improving the condition of the existing pipes themselves. So if there's existing hydrodynamic separators, which are those types of units that would, handle some of that stuff, we're leaving it as is. So I think the answer is no, or I hope I kind of clarified what we're doing.
Great. Next, there is a quick entry ramp northbound in Derby off Seymour Avenue that has no merge lane. What are your plans to make that safer?
Sorry, the screens are kind of going wonky.
I could take that one, Mike, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but we're not changing anything exactly with the ramps. But as Mike mentioned earlier, we'll be doing some improvements to the line striping and the lane configurations and stuff where it may improve the area to make it safer. Not having plans in front of me right now, I can't really, I don't know, and we're still in our design phase. So that's, hopefully with the line striping configuration, it may alleviate some of the hazard in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, is the screen back up? Sorry.
It is, yes. Yep.
Apologize.
Yeah, no worries. So the next one is, apologies if this was mentioned at the start of the meeting's presentation. Will signage be updated to have improved reflectivity?
So to my knowledge, I asked about this. To my knowledge, the signage has been replaced in the recent past.
Okay. And we have a comment from Sue. Thank you and good luck. Thank you, Sue, for your great questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Who do we express the concerns to regarding the change of entry and exits, referring to exits 17 and 18?
I would say the best way would be to submit a question through the website. We've received several other questions just like that, and we're able to get them answered to or forward to the right folks at Condot.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Mike. Through the website would probably be the best bet, and then we could pass along to our other design teams and whatnot.
Yeah, and in addition to that, making your local elected official aware of your concern definitely carries some weight as well. And then through the local council of governments. Thanks.
Okay. And I think we covered that. Who do we reach out to regarding the lighting? So we've answered those. Next one. I understand that there was a project to renumber the exits, so that is why I wondered about the signage being upgraded concurrent with this paving project. I would suggest investigating that aspect within Connecticut DOT.
Yeah, I'm well aware that a lot of the major limited access highways in Connecticut are receiving renumbering. I know it's happening right now on Route 9. Maybe Joe, could you speak to that one a little bit more? Joe, yes.
Yeah, there's many many highways, interstates that have been renumbered. I'm not sure where this corridor falls on that list, but that is something definitely could be suggested. It's a similar fashion as the previous question. Definitely carries some weight to suggest that for future improvements in this area when the signage needs to be upgraded.
All right. Well, that was the last question from our Q&A pane. And I believe we've been checking the phone lines and the email throughout the meeting. And I don't think we've seen any comments come through on that. So I did want to, give folks an opportunity, if anyone has additional questions, to feel free to enter it into the Q&A session. And then, if you don't feel comfortable commenting on this, or if you have a thought afterwards, the website is really one of the best ways to reach the team directly. So you can go to the website, and then you can feel free to leave a comment on there or a question on there, and they will absolutely get right back to you. Okay, we do have another one. Oh, and this one's got a helpful link. This is a November 10th article from the Connecticut Post that outlines a plan to renumber the exits along Route 8. So thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks. Check that out.
Okay, and yes, I would like to remind everyone that this is being recorded, and you can access that either on the website, or this is also on YouTube. So if you wanted to go back and watch the meeting again and, do it at your own pace and be able to fast forward and everything, YouTube is a very good source to do that. All right. Well, do we have any other questions or anything that anyone would like to discuss with the group? All right. Well, there's certainly you'll be able to see this recording, look at this PowerPoint, go to YouTube, go to our website. So there's many ways to communicate moving forward. So if you think of something after the meeting, please feel free to reach out. We really do value your opinion and your input.
Did I lose the screen share, Sean?
No, I'm still seeing the Q&A on there.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up for the website.
Yeah, thank you. So we did receive a one phone message from a person from the press that referenced being live streamed on YouTube. I do know that you can view it afterwards on YouTube. I'm not sure if the live stream was actually concurrent, like live with this meeting, but you certainly will be able to access it on YouTube, after the meeting concludes. So And then also additionally, if you'd like to contact us through by email or by phone or the website, we'd be happy to provide anything you need relative to this meeting for answers or information.
Hey, Sean, let's see another Q&A come in.
Okay, great. How many of us listened in on this presentation? Okay, great question. So I believe we had about 55 or 50 or 55 people registered. And then we had at one time, I believe 41 participants on the phone. So I think 41 is our presentation attendees and participants for today. Right. Well, if anyone has any more questions, please share them with us. Otherwise, I think we may tie it up for the evening. But we're happy to answer and stick around for as long as you need. So.
How long are you planning to keep it open, Sean?
I think we'll probably do a last call.
Yep.
Here we have another Q&A from the article link that Tom had sent earlier. The Quaker Corporation was awarded the job at a cost of 9.9 million. Work is expected to be completed in November 2024. So that's good info. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, we'll certainly be coordinating with that project.
All right. So I think at this time, we'll probably do a last call and see if anyone has anything else they'd like to add or talk about or ask. Okay, Tom. Oh, thank you for these efforts. Informative. Good night. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. Appreciate the comments.
Yeah, we really do appreciate everyone showing up and interacting with the group. And this is a crucial part of the project, and we're just very happy and thrilled to be interacting with the public and interested parties. So we do have an open line of communication, many ways to contact the team, ask questions, get answers, and all those options are out there for the life of the project. So. And I will, I'll just give a reminder that we do have a comment period for this meeting that's open again through January 27th. However, you can come onto the project webpage anytime to leave a message for the team. All right, Mike, I think that's going to do it.
Cool. Thank you, Sean. Great job emceeing. Thanks, everybody. Looking forward to
Thank you all.
project.